This podcast episode is brought to you by Alpha Affiliates. Alpha Affiliates are an industry-leading iGaming advertiser with a portfolio of 13 diverse and unique brands for affiliates to promote. Since its launch in 2012, Alpha Affiliates has continued to expand into new markets, working with over 15,000 affiliate partners across 38 countries worldwide. Alpha Affiliates is on a mission to become a world-leading affiliate program. Join their affiliate program and earn up to 50% revenue share commission today. Turn your marketing expertise into profit at alpha-affiliates.com.
You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, brought to you by Affyversemedia.com, the chapter and verse of everything you need to know about running a successful affiliate program for your business. This is a podcast for digital and affiliate marketers, publishers, networks, agencies, and MarTech providers who operate, support, or manage affiliate marketing programs around the globe. If you want to launch, scale, and grow a successful affiliate marketing program, you're in the right place. In this podcast, you'll learn how affiliate and partner marketing is constantly changing, and tune in to industry experts who are getting behind our mic to share tactical insights and practical knowledge to help your affiliate program grow. Here, you'll discover what's new and trending in affiliate and performance marketing, how to run your affiliate program successfully, and gain industry insights from experts and practitioners from around the globe. The truth is, you simply won't find this information anywhere else. Now here's your award-winning affiliate and performance marketing host, an industry veteran, your affiliate marketing guide, and the founder of Affyverse, Leanne Johnston.
Welcome to this week's Affiliate Marketing Podcast with me, Leanne Johnston. And today I'm super excited to invite not one, but two guests on our podcast to talk about what the strategies and current trends are in the Netherlands for the iGaming industry, because this is a market that's recently blown up. And I just thought it would be great to get some experts in to talk a little bit about what's happening there, the history of where it's come from and where we're going to, and just help people to understand how to position their brands and position their businesses in this market and really just dig right deep in. So without any further ado, welcome Floris, welcome Stephen. It's very much my pleasure to have you on this podcast today. I'm going to let Floris start off first and tell our guests a little bit about himself and his business. And then Stephen, I'm going to give you some time to introduce yourself. And then we'll crack on with some of the interesting questions that we're going to be talking about this week. So Floris, over to you.
Thank you, Leanne. Well, thank you very much for having me. Floris Assis, I'm Dutch. I live in Spain. I've lived in many places all over the world. And in 2016, I found myself in Malta and accidentally came into the iGaming business, specifically in the SEO and content marketing. And since 2018, I've been doing it as a self-employed, running a small agency. My clients are mainly Dutch casino affiliate sites. And I consider myself mainly an SEO and a content marketer, but as I rolled into iGaming, I also accidentally rolled into the affiliate business because I had one client who just said, like, you can run the whole website. So also the affiliate part of things. And this is more or less how I run into it. So my agency is called Coherentes. And since 2021, I am building slowly my own affiliate, which is called Better World Casinos, which focuses on sustainable gambling, sustainability, and ESG, and well, something we might touch upon later on in the conversation.
100%. So welcome, Floris. Thanks very much for telling us a little bit about yourself. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now over to you, Stephen.
Thank you for having me, Leanne. My name is Stephen, like stated, and I'm Dutch as well. And for me, the iGaming journey began a lot of years ago, actually during law school, where I had found a website where you were invited to write content for iGaming affiliates. And I got to know a couple of Dutch iGaming affiliates. This was well before the Dutch regulations came into effect, so before the regulated market opened. And I got to talk on legal subjects with these affiliates, and they were complaining a little bit about the deals they had with the casinos and things happening like untagging. And it just got me interested in the legal part of iGaming. After law school, I did a bit of marketing myself, after which the company XY Legal Solutions was founded, which is a legal company focusing on iGaming. And we made the decision to focus on the Dutch iGaming market in the beginning of 2019, when the Senate approved the iGaming legislation. Then it would take a couple of years before it went into effect, delay after delay. And well, because at some point we started working with operators a bit more than we worked with affiliates, but the affiliates were always interesting to me. And a lot of Dutch focused affiliates, they were really waiting for the iGaming legislations to go into effect. And they didn't have any deals with the gray market or anything like it, just waiting. And they became a bit frustrated about other affiliates who were making a lot of money on the gray market. And then we got to talk about a quality mark for Dutch affiliates. And that was the point where KVA was founded. And KVA is a quality mark focusing on the Dutch regulated market, where we service in compliance checks for affiliates, where we work together with operators as well in keeping the affiliates compliant. And a recent follow-up for KVA is the international focused QMRA, which is actually going pretty good for those first couple of weeks. Companies like Gaming Innovation Group joined us, Game Lounge, Leadstar Media. Flores joined us as well. This is one of the reasons we know each other with Better World Casinos.
We're all talking about the Netherlands today, as we already said, and why it's such an interesting area to look at engaging right now, both for affiliates and for operators. And what I wanted to do was get you guys to tell the backstory of how we've got here right now with the recent regulation that has been passed. So maybe I'm going to start with Flores, or maybe I'll start with Stephen first. Can you just give us a quick background of what's happened in this region and why we are now able to operate there and what the regulation currently is, and just tell us where we are today?
The Dutch regulations for iGaming, they took a lot of years to actually come into effect. I think the first time anyone spoke of it was like back in 2008. It was suggested, I think, that Holland Casino, the only one state-owned land-based casino in the Netherlands, would be getting a monopoly on iGaming. During this time, of course, there was a lot of iGaming going on, and it was a great market because it wasn't regulated in the Netherlands. But there was a lot of volume, a lot of interest, a lot of Dutch people playing at companies like Unibet, LeoVegas, bwin. At some point, it became clear that it wouldn't be such a good idea to give the monopoly to Holland Casino. And then came the talks about, okay, how can we fix this Europe-wise? Is it possible to work together with other countries who are regulating already or are planning to do so, to make our own regulations? And this failed as well. At some point, there was a state secretary, Fred Teven, and he was actually one of the political persons who was really in favor of regulating online gambling. And the main reason for it was, well, in general, consumer protection, but most importantly, to keep the Dutch consumers away from illegal gambling sites, because of course there were a lot of gray market websites who did a perfectly fine job, but there were also a lot of illegal websites who did things that just led to a lot of frustration, losing money, and of course you can lose money with gambling, but losing money in a strange way, and then it took a while for it to kick off. But in February 2019, like I said, the official Senate, they approved of the iGaming legislation, and then it was supposed to go into effect in 2020, but it took a little bit longer. And then in April 2021, iGaming companies were officially allowed to start application processes. And in October 2021, the market, blew up. I don't want to say that, but there were only 10 licenses given away to Dutch companies, or at least Dutch companies, people who wanted to offer iGaming to Dutch customers. But it blew up for the Netherlands. There was a fair amount of commercials and stuff. So everybody noticed it. iGaming is live now.
If I may interrupt a moment, I mean, obviously this is an excellent introduction of Stephen. I just feel that we need to share a bit more light on the landscape or gambling landscape in the Netherlands, because yes, Holland Casino was the only official gambling or casino, land-based casino, and they were state-owned. But let's clarify that land-based meaning only one allowed to offer live table games. there were plenty. There was a huge market for the gambling halls, where you would only find the slot machines or the automated roulette or those kind of gambling, hundreds all over the Netherlands. And we also saw that the moment that it became regulated, also those brands applied for licenses, and some of them started offering online gambling as well. So it's just for the people that are not familiar with the Netherlands. It wasn't that there was only Holland Casino.
Okay, so we've got the backstory now of why Holland is such a hot topic, or why the Netherlands is such a hot topic at the moment, and the history behind what it actually took to get us here, which was quite a long time. But now what I want to kind of go into is just a little bit of the nuts and bolts around the marketing and the kind of strategic landscape that's there at the moment for affiliate managers that are tuning in, who are maybe entering this market and maybe need a little bit of background into like how to approach it. Because what I think we realize very quickly here in Europe is that every country is not the same. There are a lot of different cultural factors that come into play. There's a lot of different things that marketers need to know, especially affiliates as well, in terms of, acquiring customers. As a smaller European region, like what are some of the big trends that you're seeing in this market? And, what are some of the tips that you can give to our listeners, both affiliates and affiliate managers? And I'm not asking you, Floris, to give away your entire strategy, but like what are some of the tips that you would recommend that these brands or like entrepreneurs getting into this market should really kind of listen to and take heed of before they make that jump into like opening up their business into the sector? I think common things that most people would think is, language, but I think English is pretty wide spoken in the Netherlands. I mean, most people that I've ever met, they speak both Dutch and English. And if you're lucky, you're South African like me, you can understand both, a little bit of both, if you speak slowly. But what are some of the other sort of trends and things that you can recommend to people? And Floris, I'm going to go to you first, because you're obviously kind of there and you're a native speaker.
Actually, let's dive into the point of language that you just point out. Because Dutch, yes, most Dutch people have a high level of English, but still, especially as an affiliate, you want to establish trust. And trust is best established when you approach somebody in their own native language. And especially now in the times of AI, language models, it's very easy to just throw things to translators. And when this whole thing started, I heard a lot of content creators saying like, oh, what's going to happen to my profession? Well, they're all still there, and we still need them very hard, because language models are mainly trained on English. So their Dutch is absolutely not good enough. And you need good copy and good content writers to provide proper Dutch content. So this is first thing not to be underestimated. I would, if you're serious about approaching the Dutch market, you would need to do it in Dutch. That's my recommendation number one. Then, funny, I also mentioned that it's such a hot market now, and it's been 2.5 years already since legislation and iGaming. And what I've saw from the affiliate point of view is that it was already a very interesting market before, with the gray markets, with the gray brands, and with a very high value of players. And just face it, a lot of Dutch people gamble and like to gamble. So what we immediately saw after the regulation is that a lot of new players appeared, that link building in no time, a lot of websites were saturated with links. Everybody discovered that you can earn a lot of money with sending links, and that gambling sites were very eager to buy those links. So that became a lot more difficult to compete on that aspect. And then, we have to consider the rules in the Netherlands, presumably that we only promote the legal brands, which I only do. I don't focus on gray markets. And then, there are the standard laws required regarding gambling advertising. But there is so far very little attention for the affiliates specifically. And I have the feeling, and sure Stephen can comment more on that it's something that fortunately is not that well yet understood by maybe the politicians who need to decide over these things.
You mean the importance of affiliation for the Dutch market? Yeah. Funny thing is that when I received some questions for this podcast, or at least some topics, there was one like, okay, what would make the Dutch market interesting for affiliates? And of course, to be completely honest, the market is being heavily regulated, which makes it, of course, a little bit more difficult to get a position. It's, the regulations are hard on affiliates as well. But the other side of things is, of course, that the unfocused advertising is going to disappear within a couple of years. So from the 1st of July onwards, it will not be possible to sponsor events anymore. From the 1st of July 25 onwards, it's not possible to sponsor sports and T-shirts and stuff like that. On the one side, you could say it's a hard market for affiliates because there are a lot of regulations. But on the other side, the only acquisition tool left will be a focused one. And at some point, and this means that operators are probably going to be interested in working with affiliates more and more, simply because there are not really any other acquisition tools left. And that's a legit point, making the affiliate sector interesting in the Netherlands. And Floris, you were saying about the regulations on affiliates. You asked me something before we went into this.
No, I said that so there is not allowed to be sponsored or do untargeted advertising in the Netherlands by gambling. But so besides maybe some PPC and some AdSense, affiliates never really made use of those marketing channels, at least very limited. But what you said, the interesting thing for what makes the market interesting, the Dutch market interesting for affiliates, well, mainly operators won't have another choice within a couple of years to own. They can only have affiliates as options. And I've also been pondering that question because I think Leanne has sent me the same list of talking topics. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that. And besides that the affiliates will be the only marketing channel, well, it's a rich country, so high disposable income. We also see that the average loss of players, in the last report, it was somewhere 150, 170 euros a month. Look, if we compare that to other markets, especially the now upcoming markets, which I know that a lot of clients of mine are focusing on Africa and Latin America, the losses a day are 10, 20, 30 euros. So in that sense, it's very rich players. But what I think makes Netherlands very difficult, if we can already go into towards that question, is that it's a very small market and it's very saturated. Look, we only have 600-something thousand players. And so it's a relatively small pie that we need to share. And because it's such high-value players, there are a lot of big players in the market that like to get a piece of that pie. And I was just actually discussing it this morning with a colleague. We saw already in the US, UK, and other big markets that parasite SEO has become very big. And now I actually came across some parasite SEO in the Netherlands as well. So this means, for the people that are not familiar with it, very big publishers that generally don't have anything to do with this niche, all of a sudden start adding casino content to their sites and leveraging all the authority they already have. And in no time, start ranking, outcompeting other sites that's been along for a very long time. So tough market, good market. If you make it, then there's a lot of money to be made, but hard to get in. I think you need a very clear strategy, a very clear focus to get in and to get started.
Yeah, and now I remember it was something you said a couple of minutes before about politicians not really getting the fact that legal affiliation is actually so very important for protecting the Dutch consumer. No, they don't understand what affiliation is, and they don't understand what the consequences would be if you would ban affiliation. And yeah, so my hope is, and of course with KVA we're trying to do everything we can in this manner to explain to the politicians, as we have been explaining to authorities already, what will happen if there would be a full advertising ban, which would ban affiliates as well. Because, legal affiliates who focus on the legal casinos, who make sure they work with responsible gambling pages and warnings and stuff like that, those affiliates are actually very important in keeping the Dutch consumer safe. And there will be, I hope, a point where, the government will see that.
Yeah, and take action against Google that still allows illegal brands to do paid advertising there and get traffic. Small anecdotes with regards to this. As I mentioned, I came into this industry and I was living in Malta. And I've done a lot of different things before. I have a bachelor degree in communication, where also marketing, and I always had an aversion to marketing. I never really liked it. I was always like, you create demand and you create desire and you make a product, and that was never my thing. But when I discovered SEO and that people have an intrinsic motivation to find information about a topic, whether it be gambling or finding shoes or anything, they just want that information, that query to be satisfied. And so you're not pushing, you're not doing untargeted on targeted advertising. And in that sense, I always thought it's the only legitimate way to advertise this product, because those people that want it, search for it, okay, those. And those who don't search for it, you shouldn't bother with it. That's why I'm very angry and frustrated with how the legislation and the advertising went in the Netherlands. I think it's a classic case of absolutely failed policy, and where, for different reasons, stigma only increased in the Netherlands. It didn't do any good for the image of the industry.
Well, yeah, there was just such a huge amount of advertising in those first few months. I think the politicians just, but the fact remains that affiliation is actually SEO affiliation. If we would take a look at Belgium, for instance, Belgium forbid all advertising last year at some point. I think February, some point last year, they forbid all forms of advertising. At some point, they came back to that decision to allow search engine affiliates. So a good reason for that is, of course, that if all legal affiliates would disappear from Google, illegal affiliates would only fill the screen. If you were to be looking for a very Dutch-related search term, online gokken, you would find a lot of legal affiliates right now. Of course, there will be some illegal parties in those results as well, but mainly legal affiliates, legal casinos, were those to be left out of the picture. Because if all advertising would be banned, then Google Ads would be banned as well. I assume, leaving not too much, and this would be a very, very big risk. This would mean that we will be back to the starting point, and or not even the starting point, because the companies that offered gambling in the gray market times, that were actually fine companies who did everything by the rules, who treated the customers nicely. Those companies understand now we need to have a license in the Netherlands, or we need to leave that market alone. The casinos who don't bother, who just keep on moving their product to the Netherlands, so to say, focusing on the Dutch consumers, those are the casinos who you are going to be finding when affiliation is not allowed anymore in the Netherlands.
It makes me think of an article that was published last week by a colleague, Frank Op de Voort. So he pointed out very clear, I don't know if you read the article, but he explained very clearly that the cost for an operator to become licensed and operational in the Netherlands are at least €1 million. And you need to enable them, to give them the chance to profile themselves, to make them, to get some brand awareness in the market, because they have to compete with the illegal brands. So you need to give them a chance. Whether that chance that we've given them over the last, especially the first half year, was if it had to be that way.
It was a very good chance they had.
Yeah, they had a very good chance. A lot of people made a lot of money with advertising as well. So.
Yeah, true. It would be fair to say, okay, a brand should be allowed to make their presence known, because the investment is huge. And just a question to you, because I'm always very interested in link building. It's also something our KVA members are always very sharp on. Did you give us a do follow or a no follow? And so it's
we want your partners to do follow both ways, so they cancel each other out. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it wasn't our plan. It was okay. Everybody is complaining. We will just make it a level playing field. But like, what would you? Because link building is such a highly competitive thing in the Netherlands, and of course websites know this. Backlinks are sold for thousands of euros, at least on good scoring pages. Do you even have a chance if you have a small link building budget, if you want to enter the Dutch market?
Well, that's why I don't focus on the Dutch market yet, but I focus on UK market with Better World Casinos, and that might as well be just as a competitive and hard market to enter in. The thing is that there are just a lot more English language websites to choose from than there are Dutch websites, and that makes link building very difficult. There are thousands of websites, but the ones that over the years we've identified that used to have some value, well, that there will be less than 1,000. And you will see that, well, it's just very easy. You just look at the backlink profile of a competitor, and you will see which are the decent links, or where everybody is getting their links from. So that's tough. Look, I started in this business again in 2016. It was very easy. You just dropped some content on a website and you did some links to it, and you would rank, and you would start making money, and you would make a lot of money in a very soon time. But those days are over long. I mean, especially since the 20s. And this is also one of the reasons that I focus now for my own website on a very different approach. It's you have to create value. And this is why we slowly segue into the sustainability topic. It's also a panel that I was on last month discussing ethical marketing and affiliation. And basically, if your primary goal of your business is making profit and profit maximization or shareholder primacy, you cannot be sustainable, period. Why? Because as long as your profit is your main goal, you will always be incentivized to take a shortcut, which will compromise your sustainability. So to come back to my point earlier, you have to bring value. And what's the value that we create? Well, for an operator, that's entertainment. And for an affiliate, it's education, it's information. So make sure that you have a very clear plan on how you can satisfy your searcher's query on how to play whatever game, which bonus to find, which casino has what reputation or what offering and all those things. And make sure you have a great story, you work on your trust and your authority and a great user experience. That would be for me the main criteria if you want to make it in, well, again, on the wide market, promoting legal brands.
Maybe, from my side of things, I would say it is important to know for all affiliates who want to enter the Dutch market that it is a highly regulated market, but that affiliation will possibly remain one of the only acquisition tools for the Netherlands, which will make it an interesting market nevertheless. And most importantly, if you do things by the book, at this point, the authorities are starting to see that affiliates are actually very valuable for consumer protection. So you would be more or less part of a responsible movement in keeping the Dutch consumers away from casinos that want to do harm to them. So yeah, it's in that sense, it could be a good market for affiliates.
Cool. With regard to compliance, I think that we missed so far the most important topic, and that's the 95% rule, which means that 95% of your traffic needs to be older than 24%. And this is a big challenge, especially for smaller affiliates. I was running a couple of sites for a client, very small niche sites with 1,000, 1,500 monthly traffic. And then you have to prove this with your Google Analytics data, with your demographic data. But close to 80% of the data coming in was unknown. So now make the calculations. If you have 1,000 visitors coming in, and let's say 75% of your data is unknown, so you only have 250 actually visitors to your site of which you get demographic data, and then of those only 5% can be younger than 24, that means that if you have more than 12 or 13 visitors that are younger than 24, you're already not compliant, and the operators don't want to work with you. So especially, that's very important to keep in consideration. You need to have a decent amount of traffic to get the right amount of data with demographic data in order to get the affiliates deals in the first place. So that's very tricky. And the second point I want to make, and I'm going to stick some feathers in Steven, because if you want to know more about compliance and be compliant as an affiliate in the Netherlands, go check out his website. kvakva.nl is in Dutch, but there's also the English variant, Q. Not completely unbiased because I'm a member as well, but they're doing a great job there. Your communication is very clear. So no, that's definitely a shout out to go check that out.
Wow, what a crazy episode that was. After a few technical issues on our side, I'd like to give a special thanks to Floris and Steven for carrying this episode through and giving you, our listeners, such a great understanding of some of the strategies and trends that are taking place in the Netherlands right now. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to welcoming you next week, where I'll be talking to Vitaly Anisin from Alpha Affiliates to learn more about content marketing strategies. See you all soon.
Want to amplify your affiliate program performance? The Amplify Summit is the only affiliate marketing event you need to attend to stay ahead of affiliate trends in 2024. You'll get no sales pitches, just honest advice and answers from industry experts to the questions that you have about affiliate program marketing. Get ready to save the date in your diary as we bring you the biggest and best Amplify Summit yet. Taking place on the 19th and 20th of March 2024, we'll be giving you the inside scoop on how to amplify your affiliate program and partner performance. Plus, book an on-demand ticket for £49 and you'll gain exclusive access to masterclasses, personal group coaching sessions, and all-important Ask Me Anything sessions sessions with real live industry experts who will show and tell you how to implement new tactics that drive consistent results. Get your ticket to join us at Amplify now. Visit affiversemedia.com and click the button marked Amplify Summit to register.
That's a wrap for this week's Affiliate Marketing Podcast. If you're loving what we're putting down, why not head over to Apple iTunes and give us a 5-star review? Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel so you never miss another insightful episode or one of our free webinars ever again. Tune in next week for more digital affiliate marketing insights, trends, tips, and content to keep your affiliate and performance marketing fresh and your partners driving consistent sales.